Welcome back, everyone. Glad to reconnect with you all. I hope you're doing well. I wanted to share with you this video a few days ago, but I don't know. Is anybody else dealing with that Mercury retrograde and that eclipse? Whoa. Intense. Gemini Virgo here. I'm getting through it, but yeah, I feel like I actually got some clarity on this. I wanted to share with you why I'm basically no longer wanting to be seen or put in the box of spiritual. And this has gone on for a long time for those of you who have watched me. I don't know, whatever, if you care or not, but you probably maybe have seen that I've shifted. My lifestyle is no longer so, let's just say, entrenched in spirituality. Now, you're probably thinking in the back of your mind, okay, well, Danielle, that's impossible. Like, there's no way we can not be spiritual. We're at the core of our essence spiritual, and that is our beingness, and it's not something that you can just undo. But I'm telling you in terms of what people think spirituality is, okay? I've recently watched a YouTube video showing this woman doing like a get ready with me. It was like a clean get ready with me. She was showing us like her beautiful shower and whatnot. And I was watching her show off her products, and all of a sudden she grabs a loofah. Of all things, a plastic, moldy, unhygienic tool that she's going to utilize to get clean. And I'm thinking to myself, okay, this right here is the Matrix. Look how many views and likes are on this video. This person is completely lying to herself and millions of these people showing us how to get clean. And I thought it was just so fitting, and it was perfect of what I was trying to convey in this video. You see, the Matrix has a very particular prototype of what it wants to be seen as holy and divine. And you probably have observed and maybe listened to some of these patriarchal prostitutes because they are everywhere. It is really ingrained in the fabric of the spiritual community that these indentured slaves be put up on these pedestals to continue to program humans into such a low vibe. These people have been able to create these cults that have gone on to traumatize, completely destabilize people mentally and emotionally, and yet they are fed and they continue to get paid and they continue to get followers. And it's a business. You want to know why? Because spirituality is a business. It's something that the Matrix has very simply been able to monetize. And that in itself has made the art of a devotee, someone who is disciplined and devoted to their journey as a spirit, now limited itself and funneled itself down into the lowest common denominator of, guess what? Yes, the dollar/debt. So most of the Western world has really been starved of real healing practices. It's not only rare because of capitalism, but it's also rare because of this major pushback on color itself in spiritual communities. Now you're probably thinking, oh great, here she goes with the whole racism thing. But have you noticed how there is just a very limited supply of African and Native American healers? I think that's a legitimate question to ask, especially when visiting areas that are highly condensed as a spiritual community, and yet there is so much of the same prototype. Because there has been a push, there has been propaganda, there is a systematic approach to make sure that this continues, so that spirituality continues to degrade itself into a monetary system. And if you're like me and you've really have allowed yourself out in the real world, you know that Black people and natives have the biggest souls, have the most power spiritually, and yet they aren't seen in a lot of spiritual spaces and a lot of spiritual communities that the system is created to make sure that that happens. So if you're like me, your soul is free and you want to continue that light-filled path, then you don't sell out. And what do? You find yourself in a more humbled, yes, a more juxtaposed position, being a spiritual person and yet at the same time being humbled into one's own humanity. And maybe this was the best path for me to take from the beginning. And maybe I did have to try on those questionable pajamas for a time to understand that I didn't have to be validated as spiritual to be spiritual. Because they've already got Greg Braden. They were never going to accept you. They were definitely not going to pay you, especially when it's the clan's checkbook. To be a human again was the most expansive, the most liberating, and the most safe for my soul. Now, I could be still up on those red rock spires in my pajamas, and yet there was so much more for me. People that are now so celebrated. YouTube just celebrates and pushes them out. I mean, not even just the big ones like Teal Swan. There's some small ones like what's her name? The vibration activation, and then there's a queen vibration. How is this even possible that these scammers, these like fake healers, have the ability to be so healing for me? I mean, I'm so embarrassed by these people that they were the catalyst in helping me move to a higher dimension and become a better being altogether. Disassociated with the clownery. And so I'm finding myself in some new shoes. I have found a new role, new people, less illness and less anxiety, more expansion, more fun. And that's all because I'm just no longer spiritual. Because in the end, it's to me about heart-based intelligence, and if I can release karmic debts and trauma while still being able to laugh and have a good time on this planet, then that to me is winning.